Today we are going to talk about Paul's thorn. I'm going to answer things like, what was Paul's thorn in the flesh, and did God choose not to heal Paul, and does that mean that God won't heal us? Many people use this story, Paul's thorn in the flesh, as their proof that God doesn't always heal. I've seen many comments like this, where it says, Paul prayed for healing, and it was not God's will. And this, it's not God's will everyone be healed. Paul had a thorn in his side, and it wasn't God's will to heal Paul. This had 9 likes, so other people are agreeing with this. Then there's this, more talk of Paul not getting healed, and 3 more likes. And then we have comments like this and like this. As you can see, a lot of people think Paul was sick and God chose not to heal him, and that proves that God doesn't always heal us. So did God choose not to heal Paul? As I showed you, many people want to use Paul's thorn as proof that it isn't always God's will to heal. Is this true? First, let's read where this is found in 2 Corinthians 12, verses 8 through 10. Therefore, in order to keep me from becoming conceited, I was given a thorn in my flesh, a messenger of Satan to torment me. 3 times I pleaded with the Lord to take it away from me, but he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore I will gladly boast all the more in my weakness, so that Christ's power may rest on me. That is why, for Christ's sake, I delight in weaknesses, in insults, in hardships, in persecutions, and difficulties, for when I am weak, then I am strong. So first things first, I have heard people reference this story and say, Paul pleaded 3 times and the Lord said no. Have you ever heard that before? I've heard it several times. Well, I have looked up 30 different Bible translations of this verse, and not one says that the Lord said no. So let's stop saying that God said no. So let's now touch on what was Paul's thorn. Many people believe Paul's thorn in the flesh was a sickness. This is based completely on opinion. Here's what we do know. We do know that Paul says his thorn was a messenger of Satan, or a demon. Let me read it again. I was given a thorn in my flesh, a messenger of Satan to torment me. So what was Paul's thorn in the flesh? So many people wonder, like it's this mystery. What was it? Did he have epilepsy? Did he have an eye disease? What was the thorn? We don't know. It's not that hard. Paul tells you what it was, a messenger from Satan. So to say Paul was sick, or that the thorn was a literal problem with his flesh, would be reading into the text. Plus, Paul was an excellent Old Testament scholar. Most people assume Paul literally had a thorn in his flesh. They think that there was literally something wrong with his body. However, Paul was using the same type of writing as the Old Testament. Look at Numbers 33, verse 55. But if you do not drive out the inhabitants of the land, those who you allow to remain will become barbs in your eyes and thorns in your sides. They will give you trouble in the land where you live. Was God saying that if you don't remove the people from the land, that they will literally get in your eyes and be a barb, or they will literally attach to your side and be a thorn? No, it's an idiom or a phrase of speech. God was saying they will be an annoyance to you if you don't remove them. For example, today we say things like this: it's raining cats and dogs, or man, they're a pain in the neck. When we say that, are cats and dogs literally falling from heaven? No. When you say someone is a pain in the neck, are they literally in your neck causing you pain? No, it means they're annoying you. Paul is using an idiom here by saying, I have this thorn in the flesh. It wasn't meant to be taken literally, like he had something physically wrong with him. Today, Paul might have written it like this: I have this thing and it's really a pain in the neck. Can you imagine people today, if Paul wrote that, you would have people today saying, oh, you see there, God doesn't always heal. Paul had pain in his neck. So no, the thorn in the flesh wasn't literally saying something was wrong with him. It was saying it was something that was annoying him. And we are told what the thorn was: a messenger of Satan, a demon. Okay, we've established that. But why did God say no? Again, God never says no. It may appear that God says no, but what is God actually saying? Let's look at what he actually said. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. God is saying, I have given you my grace. It's through the grace of God that we can come boldly to God. It's God's grace that we are already right with God. It's God's grace that we can submit to God and resist the devil. God didn't say no. He said, Paul, I've already given you my grace. Why are you begging me to get the demon to leave you alone? Paul, just because you feel weak, remember the greater one is on the inside of you. Paul was feeling weak and tired that day. We've all been there. And he was asking God to do something that God had empowered him to do. We have no evidence of Jesus as our example, teaching us to beg God to get demons to leave us alone. We are told to resist the devil. We are told to cast out devils, not ask God to remove them from us. Paul was asking God to do what God told him to do. You could beg God all day long to get a demon to leave you alone, and it won't work. You have to take authority in the name of Jesus and say, get out of here, and then God will back you. So God didn't say no. He was saying, Paul, remember, my strength is in you. It doesn't matter how you feel. You have the authority. And even if this was a sickness, as some people think it was, maybe that messenger of Satan was tormenting him with a sickness, because he said, I was tormented. In Matthew 17:14, there was a boy who had seizures, and it says Jesus rebuked the demon, and it came out of the boy, and he was healed at that moment. This boy got healed when Jesus kicked the demon out. So even if Paul had a sickness here from the messenger of Satan, even though I don't believe he did, he could have resisted that demon and got healed. So there really is no basis to say that Paul's thorn means that God won't heal people today. And I am surprised how many people have more faith in Paul's thorn than Jesus' stripes. Isaiah 53:5 says, but he, Jesus, was pierced for our transgressions, he was crushed for our iniquities, the punishment that brought us peace was upon him, and by his stripes we are healed. And hey, if you want to know if Jesus still heals today, click this video right here, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!